Welcome to the Epic Success Podcast. I am your host, Dr. Shannon Irvine. I am so thrilled that you're back with me here on the podcast. I really hope you've had an opportunity to be listening over the last 8 weeks where we've had some amazing colleagues, doctors, experts all around the brain and how the brain optimized helps you become more successful. We talked about breath work and mind-body connection, trauma. We talked about the brainwave states all the way to our last one, Alex, who talked about the brain connection with your personality. So some powerful, powerful experts. So today, I really want to dive into what does the neuroscience, the science of transformation say about becoming successful? You know, we're recording this live and we have some amazing questions that have come in from Cindy Cuba, from Louise Dix, from Michelle Finn, from Carol Roberts. I might not be able to get to all the questions today, but we're really going to dive into the 3 key components that science tells us about how the brain wires success. And if you don't know these things and you're trying to build a business or trying to be successful in any way, you are at risk of trying to work in a way that's against the way your brain is wired, which means you're going to be pushing that 10-ton boulder up Mount Everest and wonder, why is this so hard? And man, that was me. I was pushing, trying to start my own business. I was running my own nonprofit and I was trying the push versus the pull, right? I was trying to really push it into existence. And it felt hard and it felt heavy. And I felt like everyone else had this like magic elixir that they somehow drank and they knew all the answers and I didn't know it. And I'm wondering if you've ever felt that way. Like if you just could figure out the secret tactic, strategy, that you would be able to do it, but it seems like it was being hidden from you by all the successful people, right? And that you were just coming up and showing up every day and it felt hard and you felt scared. And I don't know about you, but that feeling of like, I don't want to go live. What if somebody calls me out? What if somebody doesn't think I'm expert enough? What if somebody is doing that, right? So super scary to be doing it when you're working against the way your brain is wired. And so I want to dive into that today and really break down the 3 key components of the brain's wiring of success so you can start to have your brain work for you instead of against you. And that brings me to Cindy Cuba's first question, which is, how do we get to truly believe what we want? And I love this question so much because this is probably at the forefront of every business owner, every entrepreneur's mind. Like, I want to believe it, right? We write the visions, we set the goals, we do those things. I want to believe it so much. But yet at the same time, there's this belief of, I don't really think it's true. And I don't tell anybody, but I feel like a fraud and all of those things that are going on behind it. And we want desperately to believe that it's true, but we have this secondary voice, don't we? That is always telling us when we're not leveling up, when we're not showing up as enough, when we're not, safe. And it wants to tell us that we're not good enough. And what's happening in that, and that really relates to the first key that I wanted to share, is our brain's job is not to make us successful and a business that's a breakthrough business. Our brain's job is to keep you safe and to keep things familiar. And here's what I mean. Like, don't get eaten by the tiger and make sure that you survive and stay alive. So if your brain's job is to keep you alive, safe and familiar, and what you want most in the world is to have this amazing success and this amazing business, your brain, unless you do work through the brain science of success, your brain sees what you want as a threat. So what's happening is your brain is actually saying to you, hey, I don't think it's safe for you to go live. You might be judged, or your mom might be on there and she might be like judging what you're doing and wondering why you're doing it. Have you ever had that conversation in your head? Or oh, I've done it. I'm just going to work a little bit more on it because it's not perfect enough. And what are we trying to protect there? Our brain is saying, it's not safe for you to put that thing out there. You're going to be found out. You're going to be discovered that you're not enough. And then you're going to be threatened. Your existence is going to be threatened. Your brain wants to keep you safe and familiar. So now you might be saying to yourself, well, great. If it's working against me all the time, like, no wonder. Well, here's the best news in the whole world. Your brain becomes your greatest superpower and your biggest competitive advantage when you learn the keys that allow you to automate what you want to believe, as Cindy asked, what you want to believe as safe and familiar, and remove, neutralize, and erase the thoughts that are holding you back. And so knowing that your brain is trying to keep you safe, and it's been on automation since you were young. Look, when you were young, in the environment you were in, whether you grew up in the most amazing family in the world or hell on earth or somewhere in between, we all come away with the stories that our environment told, the stories that our parents told themselves, our stories that the environment and our school, our teachers told themselves, right? Because when we're young, we don't have a filter. We don't have the prefrontal cortex built up to say, I don't think that's true, right? And especially in our family of origin, we hear that money doesn't grow on trees and you got to work hard for your money and rich people are bad and greedy and evil. And God says that the root of evil is money. And all of these beliefs that are on automation for our family or automation for our friends or on automation for the teachers or whatever. And as a young person, we just receive them as truth about success, about failure, about money, about worth, about safety. You have an automated story about that you did not choose and you did not give permission to. And now you're an adult trying to build this amazing business, or you're trying to do these incredible things and become successful. Yet these automations that you did not choose, nor did you give permission in your subconscious, are running. And here's the good and bad news. We know from science that 90% of your daily decisions, which create your actions, which create your results, come from that automated part of your subconscious mind. So 90% of what you're doing is coming from the automated place of your subconscious versus your prefrontal cortex, that place is saying that I want this thing and I want to believe this thing. So that's why it feels hard. That's why it feels like a struggle. And that's why you keep selling yourself short, why you keep saying, you want this thing, but you don't show up as big as you know you could because of the fear, because of fear of being found out, and because of that imposter syndrome. Who the heck am I? All that happens to keep you safe. Now, what I want to give you is the best news. And one of the second keys is this. We've got to create a GPS for our brain to follow. And the brain science of success, this is what I love it, maybe because I'm a step-by-step girl. I love the way our brain wires success or anything, failure, success, anything. It follows the same pattern. Now, my neuro coaches coach around this. This is a STEPDAR pattern that goes on in the brain. Situation happens. We have a thought about it. That thought gets combined with emotions. We know the thought comes first. We know thought drives emotion. We know that from science now. If it gets repeated enough, AKA childhood, or something else that happens along the way, it becomes a belief pattern and goes on automation in our subconscious. Once it's on belief pattern and is automated in our subconscious, from that place, 90% of our decisions, actions, and results come from that. So what do? Well, we get to actually become the creator of our thoughts, and we get to actually create a GPS system that allows our brain to see the place we want to go as massively safe and massively familiar. And here's the thing. Like if I jump in my car and I just say auto drive, right? And I don't give it a direction. So say I jump in a Tesla. I don't have a Tesla, but I know they are the only auto drive car. So we'll use that. And I say, go to Tacoma. and I don't tell it how to go there. I don't plug anything in. The GPS is offline. The car starts driving. The chance of it actually ending up where I want it to go in Tacoma, if that's an actual city, is about 10%, right? Because it's just throwing darts at the wind. Like, I hope this is the way. I hope this is the way. Well, let me try this. Have you done this in your business? Well, let me try this tactic. Let me try this strategy. Let me chase this guru. Maybe that didn't work. Let me try this. Anybody jumping from course to course, strategy to strategy, tactic to tactic, looking to see if they can figure out something that will actually make it work? Well, that's our brain trying to keep us safe, right? But if you plug in a GPS, if you say, I want to go to Tacoma and I want to go through these states and this is the map and this is the path, go. Well, now it's on autopilot. Now we're running 100% of our GPS on autopilot. Your brain works exactly the same way. We're trying to run and create businesses and create this massive breakthrough in our lives and our businesses without a GPS. And we're wondering why the heck we don't get there. We've got to give our brain a map, a GPS to take us there. And the way we do that in our neurocoaching model is through three main pillars. First, we've got to clarify for our brain. We've got to give it the GPS, right? We have to share exactly what it looks like when we've arrived at the end result. The best news I learned in my PhD is this: your brain does not know the difference between the thing that has already happened and the thing that you show your brain over and over again that you want. And there's just so much peer-reviewed research on this. People learning piano without ever touching the keys. People learning to swim different strokes without ever having to be in the pool. Research after research after research has completely verified the scientific fact. Your brain only has to believe it, so you will see it. Your brain has to believe it, or you will see it. And Cindy's question is so vital because it's like, well, how? We've got to give it a vision map. We've got to create a map for our brain. And I call that clarify. And we take our clients through a very specific process to get there. But we need to make it so crystal clear in the GPS of our brain what done success looks like, what slayed goals look like, what arriving at the destination not just looks like. This is where not brain-based goal setting goes really wrong. It's not, I want to make 10,000 a month. It's when I make 10,000 a month, this is who I'm being. This is what I'm doing. This is what I have. This is what I'm wearing. This is what I'm drinking. This is what I feel. This is who's with me. This is what I smell in the air. This is the glass of wine I'm having. You get the point, right? So it's not one, two-dimensional. It's multidimensional, all the senses, just like you're experiencing right now, right? You're experiencing your own 3D world right now. You're looking around, you're feeling the temperature, you're hearing my voice, you're doing all those things. That's 3D. You've got to give your brain that 3D vision map experience way before you actually expect it to happen. So Cindy, that answers your question. Like, how do we create that? We've got to clarify. We've got to give our brain a vision map to truly, truly transform. Now, here's the thing. That's great in and of itself. And yes, if you do that step, you will build this GPS toward the place that you want. But at the same time as you having your foot on the gas, you'll have your foot on the brake at the same time. And what do I mean by that? Well, if you still have the autopilot running that says that I am not a person that should be on the stage, I am not a person that's valuable enough to be coaching yet, I am not fill in the blank. If you have that voice on your shoulder still saying all the reasons why it's not going to work, we've got to remove from your brain that network. So if you can picture with me freeways, with the vision map and clarify, we're creating a freeway that's actually going to take you to where you want to go. We've got to have that. Your brain has to have that GPS. And we got to be able to take our foot off the brake, because otherwise you've got the GPS, the foot's on the gas and your foot's on the brake at the same time. And what are we doing? Circles. Why does it feel hard? Because we're pushing the boulder uphill because our foot is on the brake. And if you ever tried to like drive with your foot on the brake, or the brake, still on, it doesn't work so well, does it? Right? It stalls you out. And that's what's so powerful. Sometimes, especially when it comes to brain science, it's equally or almost more powerful to remove something than it is to actually gain something. So the erase, which is the second piece of the neurocoaching pillar or process model, is to neutralize and erase through what we love to call in science synaptic pruning. Now, I can't go into every detail around how we do this, but here's what I want you to know. It is so step by step the way the brain works and wires these beliefs that we take you through what's called a mind matrix process that literally has you recognize, record, and then refute and rewire these broken brake pedal beliefs. And your brain, after you repeat the rewiring enough, your brain stops believing those old automations. So it goes from being on autopilot without your permission, 90% running your daily decisions, to almost like a crumbling freeway. Imagine LA right now, like a crumbling freeway where it's not sure anymore that you believe that. Remember, your brain was working for you when it automated. It automated because you repeated it enough, or your parents did. And so it's doing what it thinks you want. You've repeated it 67 about times and your brain says, thank you, I will take that and automate it. And so what we do in the erase pillars, we've really got to get after what is the belief that's holding me back? What am I actually saying to myself? This is where neurocoaching is so different than all other types of coaching, because we really want to get after, nobody says when they get in front of a camera, I have imposter syndrome. No, you say, oh my gosh, what's somebody going to give me a negative comment? I might get sick, right? What if somebody finds me out, right? Those are the things that we're saying to ourselves. So what are you actually saying to yourself when you're actually going for the thing that you want and you're feeling resistance? Here's the great news. That resistance that you're feeling, that's the difference between broken automation and the thing that you want. So you can actually rejoice when you feel that resistance, because it's actually revealing to you the thing that you want to erase. And as you hear those words, I'm not good enough to coach yet, or whatever it is you're saying to yourself, you writing it down and actually going through that process of neutralizing first and then erasing that allows your brain to take that freeway that was on autopilot without your permission, crumble it, and then eventually neutralize it. And by the time 67 days comes up, the synaptic gap is so wide that that thought can't fire on automation anymore. So it might have been running your stories for the last, the story you've been telling yourself for 20 years. But through you using the brain science of success, you can neutralize and erase it in about 67 days. Pretty powerful stuff. But so many high achieving, high performing entrepreneurs go trying to do just tactic by tactic, strategy by strategy, trying to figure out the next thing versus the place of the brain that operates it all. So we want to get your foot off the brake, right? And we do that through the erase piece of the brain science of success. We have to clarify. We got to give your brain that GPS to know what it looks like when it's already done and continue to practice that. But then we also really need to get the foot off the brake by using the tools of brain science to help you first be aware of, second, neutralize, and then third, erase those brake pedal beliefs that have been holding you back for way too long. Is it a step-by-step process? Is it easy? Yes. Well, let me say it this way. Is it simple? Yes. If you can follow like chunky Lego instructions, you can do this. Is it difficult? No. But do most people do it? No. Why? Because it makes you slow down to speed up. But I can tell you, the person that you're looking up to, the person that's got the multiple $1 million business, the person that has the success that you want, this is what they're spending their 80 to 90% on. How I think about the things that I want to do, how I don't hold space for the things that are holding me back, and I neutralize and erase them. Now, the third key, though, in this whole brain science of success is this. First, we clarify, then we go through erase. But what is the most powerful tool in the brain science of success tool belt is automation. Because what you automate, you create. What you automate, you create. So automation, and that's just basically repetition of the GPS vision map, repetition of the new truth in opposition to the brake pedal beliefs. We use a process of automation, showing your brain over and over again in the morning, in the night, and just keeping the repetition, which is what we know builds those automated networks. That repetition is what gets the brain to start building a new network brick by brick by brick. Because what you really want, if I'm peeling back your brain, is you want a neural network that is firing toward that vision with no on-ramps or off-ramps, like Hotel California, right? Just go, go, go. And you want any of those brake pedal beliefs neutralized and erased. And you want all of those on automation so that you're not having to push the boulder uphill. You're actually starting to pull the success towards you. Why? Because your brain at that point starts working for you instead of against you. It sees as safe and familiar the things that you want most in the world, the things that light you up, the things that you're put on this earth to do. And it no longer holds automation for the things that are blocking you. And when that automation happens, there's something called the reticular activating system that kicks in, aligns with that automated belief that it's already done, and creates in your environment opportunity after opportunity. You start seeing the opportunities that were there, but you couldn't see them because your brain had these brake pedal beliefs holding you back. So the brain science of success is super powerful tool that it's, you guys have heard me say this before. It is my mission, my calling, my passion to see each and every one of you as entrepreneurs, business people, side hustlers, coaches, course creators, entrepreneurs step into this work, because it is a powerful, powerful way to automate your brain toward success and remove anything that is blocking you toward any result. And I know that's like a bold statement, like you really can get anything you want. Sounds, kind of woo, but it's the woo behind the science behind why the woo works. It's because you align your brain with what it is that you want and you show it as done, but you equally go after the things that are blocking you, neutralize and erase them, and make sure that you use automation to just shortcut the process to pull success towards you instead of that constant push and strive. And y'all, I was in the strive for so long until I made this shift and really perfected this neuro coaching model. And then now I've been able to see so many entrepreneurs train their brains to transform their business and then as their life, because in the brain that operates your business is the same brain that's operating your life. And so these are powerful tools. Knowing how to clarify, erase, and automate is really the strategy that works to get you more money, because your brain makes more, is the tool you use to make more money. Your brain is the tool that you use to make more time. Your brain is the tool you use to make your relationship have meaning. Your brain is your biggest competitive advantage and superpower. And you've had it all along, and you just haven't had the operating manual to know how this works. So I hope that this podcast episode, in combination to everything you've learned through the last little bit, has really started to open your eyes to saying yes to you, to saying yes to that you're not broken, that there's nothing wrong with you, that you're not missing anything, that those super successful people don't have anything different than you have, other than they've slowed down to speed up. They've trained their brain for success, and they continue to do it time and time again, seeing it as its most valuable resource. And you just haven't done that yet. But I hope this podcast, my wish for this podcast, is that it lands so deeply in your heart that you just get obsessed with learning how to do this. And trusting that, like, when your brain is wired toward the success that you want, truly success becomes inevitable. And you can step into that calling that you know you were meant for. And I believe people are waiting for you to do that. So I hope this was valuable. The brain science of success is something that is one of your biggest, most powerful tools that you have to get to where you want to go time and time and time again. And we are really excited that we are opening the doors to our neurocoaching certification for coaches. Anybody who is a coach or somebody that wants to get from point A to point B, that is what we are helping with the neurocoaching certification, helping you know how to coach somebody's mind, including your own, to get there. So we'll drop the link in the show notes for that if that's something that you want to watch an info session on. But we are opening those doors and they're filling up fast. We only take so many coaches and course creators at a time to get NeuroCoach certified. So if that's something you're interested in, make sure you jump to drshannonirvine.com/coach and show up for a live session or watch the replay. So thrilled that you listened today. I want to ground this with one actionable step, and that's this. You are the creator of your thoughts, and it's your thoughts that create the emotion, which ultimately create the belief, which creates an identity that goes in automation. So today, I just want you to be the creator of your thoughts. And when a thought comes to you that is not serving you, I want you to just really become aware and ask yourself that question. Does this thought get me to where I want and help me build that GPS? Or is this thought putting the brakes on the thing that I want most? And just in that action of becoming aware of the thoughts that you think allows you to start to understand the power that's available to you as the creator of your thoughts to tap into the brain science of success and truly automate your mind, your brain, for things you want. Because once you automate, you create. All right, that's what I have for you this week on the Epic Success Podcast. I will see you next week. Until then, bye for now.